Good morning students, this is 12th class biology, lecture 10 of chapter 6. So today you will learn about Human Genome Project. First of all, you need to know what is genome. So the entire DNA in the haploid set of chromosome of an organism is called genome. In human genome, DNA is packed in 23 different chromosomes. As you know, what is haploid set of chromosome in an organism? In human being, if we talk about, that is 23 pairs of chromosomes are present in human. So these are 23 chromosomes, you can say. Human Genome Project. It was started in 1990 and was completed in 2003. It was the effort in identifying the sequence of nucleotides. Where these nucleotides are present? In the DNA. And where this DNA is present? In 23 chromosomes. Okay. So this Human Genome Project was an effort to identify the sequence of nucleotides which is present in the DNA and mapping of all the genes in human genome. As you know, genes are present in the chromosomes and where? On the DNA. Means these are as a sequence of DNA. So mapping of all the genes of the human genome was the aim of the Human Genome Project, you can say. And it was completed in 13 years. Human genome contain 3 into 10 to the power 9 base pair in haploid set. So these base pairs are present in a haploid set of human genome. Double will be in diploid set. Now, what were the goals of Human Genome Project? First, to identify all the estimated genes in human DNA. Okay, so first goal was to identify all the estimated genes, and estimated genes in human genome was 20,000 to 25,000 at that time. So first goal was to identify all those genes. Second, to determine the sequence of 3 billion chemical base pairs that make up the human DNA. As I told you that what is the number of base pairs in human genome. So second aim was to determine the sequence of all those base pairs. Third aim was store this information in databases, okay, in computerized form. Improve tools for the data analysis. Means when this data is required, then a data analysis tools should be improved. Transfer related technologies to other sectors such as industries, because in some industries can be for the formation of some medicines, okay, or some for other research projects. So these information of the Human Genome Project must be transferred to the other sectors like research industries and the industries which make medicines. Next goal was address the ethical, legal and social issues, because there can be some ethical issue in the way, means when the Human Genome Project, when the human genome will be sequenced, there can be some ethical issue, there can be some legal issue or social issues. So all these issues need to be addressed. Then Human Genome Project was closely associated with the bioinformatics. And what is bioinformatics? Application of computer technology and information science to organize, interpret and predict biological structure and functions. So in bioinformatics, biological structure and functions are studied, or you can say organized and predicted on the basis of with the help of computer technology. Usually applies in analyzing DNA sequence data. So usually bioinformatics, you can say computer technology, is used in analyzing the DNA sequence data. So you can say bioinformatics played a very important role in Human Genome Project, because for sequencing the DNA, this bioinformatics means computer technologies helped. Now, methodologies which were used for the Human Genome Project. So there are two major approaches which can be used for the sequencing of genome. First is expressed sequence tags. In expressed sequence tags, as the name is indicating, expressed sequence means the sequence of the genome which can express itself, in the form of RNA. Okay, so in this approach, what is done? Identifying all the genes that are expressed as RNA. So the genes of the genome which can express themselves as the RNA are identified in this approach. Second approach is sequence annotation. In sequence annotation, what is done? Sequencing the whole genome, which contains all the coding and non-coding sequence. As you know, in human genome, coding and non-coding parts are present. In DNA, exons and introns are present. Okay, so here whole genome is sequenced. Either it is coding, and it is expressed in form of RNA, or not expressed in form of RNA. The whole genome is sequenced here, and later assigning different regions in the sequence with function. So first whole genome is sequenced, and after that the region coding for any particular protein or coding region is assigned later. So later there will be assigning of different regions in the sequence with their functions. So these are two methodologies, two approaches which can be used for the sequencing of genome and which were used for the Human Genome Project. Now, what was the procedure for the Human Genome Project? First of all, isolate total DNA from a cell. All the DNA from a cell is isolated, then convert into random fragments. Then this DNA is cutted, okay, with the help of some enzymes. Okay, so the fragments of the DNA will be obtained. So you can say random fragments of DNA are made. Then clone in a suitable host. In the unit biotechnology of your 12th class, you will get to know about the cloning method. Okay, what is cloning? So here what is done? Cloning means these random fragments of DNA which have been taken from a cell. Okay, these random fragments will be cloned, or you can say will be transferred to a suitable host. You can say these will be transferred to the host. And what is host here? That can be BAC, that is bacterial artificial chromosome. Okay, and YAC, that is yeast artificial chromosome. So these two can be used as the host for the amplification. What is amplification? Increasing length of the DNA. So here these fragments of the DNA, the length of all these fragments is increased by transferring these into BAC or in YAC. Why we need to increase the length? So that we can easily understand, we can easily study the sequence present on those fragments. After that, fragments are sequenced using automated DNA sequencers. So here a specific type of machines, you can say computed machines, are used for the sequencing of these fragments. So this sequencing of these fragments is done with the help of automated DNA sequencer and on the basis of Frederick Sanger method. Frederick Sanger was a scientist. He gave a special method for the sequencing of the DNA sequencers. Okay, so method of the Sanger is used here to sequence the DNA fragments. Now sequences are arranged based on overlapping regions present in them, as all the fragments have been made from a DNA from a single cell. So there will be some overlapping regions, and on the basis of or on those overlapping regions, these sequences are arranged. Okay, so sequences are arranged based on overlapping regions present in them. After that, alignment of sequences using computer based programs. Now these sequences will be aligned using the computer based programs. Here also bioinformatics work. Finally, after 13 years, human genome was sequenced. Complete human genome was sequenced based on the methodologies and the procedure which was followed. So here, genetic and physical maps on the genome, on the human genome, were generated using information on polymorphism of restriction endonuclease recognition sites. Polymorphism means variation in DNA sequence. And here, what is restriction endonuclease? This is an enzyme which is used to make fragments of DNA. You can say to cut the DNA. This enzyme is used. Okay, and this enzyme cut the DNA at specific sites. Those sites are called recognition sites. Okay, so if there is polymorphism in DNA, you can say differences, variations are present in DNA sequence, then these recognition sites will be different for the restriction endonuclease, and on the basis of that polymorphism and also on the basis of some repetitive DNA sequences in the human genome, these genetic and physical maps on the genome were generated. What are these repetitive DNA sequences? These are called microsatellite. You will learn about the microsatellite in detail in this chapter, in next topic. Okay, so what is the base here? Polymorphism and microsatellites which are present in human genome. Not only human, but genome of many other organisms has been sequenced now. For example, pathogens such as bacteria. So many bacteria's genome has been sequenced, and what will be benefit by that? It will be easy to diagnose the disease by that bacteria, and it will be easy to treat that disease if we know the genome sequence of the bacteria. Then many model organisms, those are used for the experiments, okay, for the human welfare. So in these model organisms, Drosophila genome has been sequenced, C. elegans, that is Cinna habitatus, elegans, that is a nematode, okay, mouse, which have been used in genetics for many years. So these organisms are used for experiments, for different experiments these organisms are used, and their genome has been sequenced. So it becomes easy to experiment with these organisms. Then many agricultural organisms. Agricultural organisms, you can say many crops, that are rice, wheat, cattle. Sequence of these has also been, genome of all these has been sequenced, and also human. Based on today's topics, your homework is NCERT question number 12, and must read this topic from your NCERT book. Now let's discuss the answer of question number 10 of NCERT that I gave in homework in previous lecture. So question was, in the medium where E. coli was growing, okay, means in the nutrient medium where E. coli was growing, lactose was added, which induced the lac operon, because lactose is responsible for inducing the lac operon. Then why does lac operon shut down sometime after the addition of lactose medium? So this is simple. After some time lactose will be finished. Okay, so let's discuss the answer now. In lac operon, lactose act as an inducer, right? Inducer means it binds to the repressor and inactivates it. Once the lactose bind to the repressor, the RNA polymerase will bind to the promoter region, and hence three structural genes that are Z, Y and A will express and will form the respective enzymes. These enzymes act on lactose so that lactose is metabolized into glucose and galactose. So these enzymes will be responsible for the breakdown of lactose. You can say E. coli will consume the lactose with the help of these enzymes. Then what will happen after some time when the level of inducer decreases? Inducer means lactose, because enzymes are continuously using the lactose. So when the level of inducer decreases, it is completely metabolized by the enzyme. It causes synthesis of repressor from the regulator gene. But the repressor gene will form the regulator gene will form the repressor, and now there is no inducer to bind with the repressor and to inactivate that repressor. So what will happen? This repressor will bind to the operator gene and prevents RNA polymerases from transcribing the operon. So you can say the transcription is stopped. This type of regulation is known as negative regulation.